What's good, y'all? UFC 300 is over. It's done. But I feel like we're still buzzing off of it. Like, it's almost like one of those gummies that you take late on a Saturday, and then you wake up Sunday, you still kind of feel it. That's the way it kind of feels right now. And I mean, I'm still hype about it. I don't know. How do you feel about it, Frankie?
You know what? I thought like it's a weird one because obviously they stacked the card as well as they could have done, but there was always that danger of, like just the expectations being too high and it not delivering.
Yeah.
So I think from that perspective, the fact that they did everything they could to stack it and it turned out to be an amazing event, there was still something special about it. We got so many iconic moments out of it.
Yeah.
I would say it's a rip-roaring success, and I'm still thinking about what comes next, which is something we'll get to, but I thought it was I thought it went as well as it could have gone. And the UFC should be proud of how they put the event on, and I'm sure they got a lot of new fans from it.
I hope so. I really hope so. I mean, and I think that that's like a kind of a goal for my channel. I know yours is not only educating people, but like really pulling people into why we love this sport so much, why we spend all this time and attention and ignoring our families to pay attention to this sport. You know what I'm saying? So in saying that, as usual on these big cards, I definitely wanted to give out some awards for what we saw throughout the night. And I got 6 awards that I want to throw out there. So I got my 6 for these awards. Frankie has his. We said I'm gonna go first on this, or
yeah,
you want to go back? Okay, cool.
Yeah, we'll just do it like that. That sounds good to me.
Cool. All right. So for the first award, this award is for the fighter who made an impressive comeback from a career slump, and the name of the award is the Fuck Around and Find Out Award. And I give this award to none other than the samurai Yuri Prochazka. He came off of what could be a debilitating loss against Alex Pereira, where he gets finished and turns that around, doesn't change his style, attacks the same way that he does, Rakic landed some shots. He landed some shots on this man. But Yuri, being the weird person that he is, walked right through tons of shots. His leg got chewed up, and he found a way to put that seed of doubt in Alexander Rakic's mind, and Rakic just crumbled. And he walked out of there with an amazing win, and he got the bonus. So, amazing success for Yuri Prochazka. He gets my Fuck Around and Find Out award. Who got that for you, Frankie?
Yeah, Yuri was one that came to mind as well this is one of my favorite awards, and I can understand where you're coming from. He was definitely one that I considered. The reason why I kind of overlooked him for this one is because I know the loss to Alex Pereira was bad, but he has only lost one fight in about 20. And while he needed this, I still felt like his stock was reasonably high. So yeah, I still think he was there. And, we both picked him to win this one. So I was kind of, I felt like he was going to be okay. Bobby Green, after getting murdered by Turner and then coming back and getting a big win on a big stage, must have felt great.
Yeah.
Aljo as well, after he got knocked the fuck out, and now he's kind of able to underline that, and now he's got a potential career resurgence in an entirely new division. So that could be great. This might be a weird pick. I'm going to give it to Jessica Andrade.
Wow.
Like
Frankie loves women's MMA. Don't let him fool you. He loves women's MMA.
What is this a women's MMA award? I'm not sure. But we are talking about Jessica Andrade. But just all right. So kind of think about this here. This is why I gave it to her. Like, picture this, right?
Yeah.
Your wife leaves you, right, and takes half your shit. Yeah. You lose 4 fights in a row, most of them in devastating fashion. Yeah. She did get quite a starching win before this, But then she gets onto the biggest card of all time and wins. I imagine that her life was in the toilet last year.
Yeah. She
lost her money. She lost her wife.
Yeah.
She was getting battered. It felt like every week. And then, so I think if anyone came back from the dead on this card, it was her. You know, she's going to have a respectable strawweight ranking after this. Yeah, I would have given it to Aljo, but he made me really, really bored. So
yeah, that was boring. But it's hard to argue that one. That is an amazing pick. I didn't even think about that, to be honest. You know, just because she was coming off, you know, beating the other person who was paying out some alimony in Mackenzie Dern, beating her to a pulp. But you're right. Like, last year was awful for Jessica Andrade.
Awful.
She lost everything. She lost money and ranking and dignity.
I guarantee she didn't get that house as well.
Nah.
Whatever property they owned, she don't live in there anymore.
No, she's earned her way. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. She needed it. She needed it really bad. But yeah, no, that's a fair pick for sure. For sure.
Yeah, right. Go with Jessica.
So let's go to the next award. This one is the Parlay Spoiler Award, but we wanted to give it a more classy name. So this one's the Fucking Up the Church's Money Award. And this one, for me, easily went to Jalen Turner because, and it ain't even from my parlay, because my parlay didn't include him because I didn't trust it that much. Because even though I picked Jalen Turner to win, I wasn't that confident because he seems to get into these fights and things just fall apart for him. And Moicano is very, very hard to put away. Very, very tough individual. And I couldn't do it. But what I did see in the chat, on the live chat, was people mentioning repeatedly that they had Turner in their parlays. I saw on Twitter people saying that Turner was in their parlays. So clearly he was fucking up the church's money because he did a one punch, thought he was going to have a walk-off knockout into that 300,000, and it didn't work that way.
That made it worse.
Dude, I'm going to put up a picture right now just so y'all can see how it is. It's Nick Young, Swaggy P, shooting a shot, turning around, and just wishing that ball went in. It's embarrassing, and that's how that was. But that undoubtedly, for me, had to go to Jalen Turner. What do you think?
Yeah, this was an easy one for me. So for me, like the award, this award was kind of like, who was the favorite that you felt was a banker, and then they still got slapped award. That's kind of how I see it. I had Bo Nickel as a potential one because, let's be real, like nobody bet on that guy on the money line, but I bet plenty of people bet on him to start that scrubbing under 1.5, and he didn't. I couldn't give him the award because he won, so fuck it, you know. I imagine a lot of people bet on Charles Oliveira, but you know, he was the underdog. You know, so you can't really give it to him. Also, I did make $100 on the card on the weekend, but it could have been 3. So I'm personally quite angry with Jamar Hill, who made my evening less fun. I probably should have cashed that one out. I got a little bit. I was loaded out of my mind at that point, but yeah, I'm glad I'm the kind of person who I stick to my convictions. You know, even if I was. You
did. I tried to talk you out of it. I did.
You did. Everyone did. Everyone did at the time. Yeah, the only answer's Jalen Turner. Like 90% of Tapology were picking him. He was the clear favorite. And, you know, it's like what you mentioned before. A lot of people had mentioned that Jalen was on their parlays. But what's been really funny is on Twitter, people have been asking Jalen for their money back.
Wow.
Like kind of afterwards, you've been getting a lot of like memes coming out on Twitter. And it's like you said, you know, he had Moicano hurt. Because he had him beat. If he'd not stood up and tried to walk off and make it look cool, he could have you know, blazed in and finished the job potentially. He had him hurt. So you can imagine if you bet on him and you saw that, you're like, damn, you could have had it won, and then you let this opportunity slip, and then you go and get finished. Yeah, I'd have been fuming. So there's no he ruined probably millions of parlays on Saturday night.
Yeah.
I guarantee you nobody ain't gonna be betting on him again.
Nope, he's not getting that love.
I tried to warn
time.
everyone. I picked Moicano.
Yeah. And you know what? Before I even keep going, I want to give Frankie a round of applause for the effort that he put towards this card. He did a lot of research, and he was right so much on this card.
Yeah, I think I went 10-3.
Yeah,
I had a good day.
Pretty.
It was elite. And the thing is, I might have to start doing this more because I usually just kind of go on what I know when I make picks, and just I don't put that much into it. I know we watch a fair amount of MMA, but no.
Yeah, but you went hard.
The
on
research
this one.
paid off.
It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, appreciate that.
So the next award, it's for the knockout of the night. And the way that I do this award, it is for the person who got knocked out. So this is the Upper Room Award. And this, I mean, who went to the Upper Room in more emphatic fashion than Justin Gaethje by way of Max Holloway? Nobody entered the pearly gates for a temporary stay more elegantly than Justin Gaethje. I mean, you talk about booty in the air. He had a UFC 5 knockout. Like, he just went down and just slumped. I mean,
he did.
And you know what? Fair play to him. Like, what's interesting is in everything that I'm seeing is, and this is just Max Holloway, he's given Justin Gaethje a lot of praise for, being there, meeting him in the center. But Justin Gaethje had to. He was losing the fight. He knew that. He had to. He didn't have no choice but to meet him in the center. And that was one of the most dangerous things I've ever seen. Mm-hmm.
Did you see that one of the judges had it 2-2 going into the fifth?
I'll bring up the card, the scorecard. Yeah. Like, it was insane. I think it was, I can't remember. It was an Asian judge. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
And I don't know what fight he was watching at all whatsoever, because
it could have gone to a split decision if it had finished, which would have been crazy.
Man, I'm so glad it didn't go that way. And I love Justin Gaethje. I think he's a future Hall of Famer, but like, he had to come out on the butt end of something that was like, it's going to be on all the UFC highlights going forward. And that sucks for him, but it was magical, and he needs something, and he's going to walk away with this award and $300,000. Yeah. So who you got?
Which I'm sure will soften the blow. I do feel a little bit sorry for Gaethje with the whole way that everything panned out for him, and we'll talk about that a little bit later when we discuss what's next for him.
Yeah.
I think it would, like, I was going to do my usual thing where I talk about other candidates who could have got it. I feel like this was so clear, it would be disrespectful to even do that. It's got to be Max Holloway.
Yeah.
It's got to be. I got exactly what I wanted out of this because, as you know, this was one of the very few picks that I got wrong. But one of the few picks that I was very, very happy to get wrong because I love Justin Gaethje as a fighter, but I did want to see him get a bit of a battering, to be honest. And I got what I wanted. And like I said, the way it happened, I mean, that is the chin down, booty up award. That is he got absolutely destroyed. He completely lost. I had it 4-1. If the fight had finished, it would have been, I felt 4-1. Domination. And I think even you could make a case that Max won every round.
Yeah, you could.
Really. Can I ask one question just as a sidebar?
Yeah.
The knockdown that Gaethje got. Can you explain to me why that wasn't given? Or wasn't registered?
I think it was a knockdown. I think it was a clear knockdown.
He punched him. He fell on his bum. It's a knockdown.
It's a knockdown. Yeah.
I don't get that.
I don't know why. I mean,
like I said, I'm not trying to take away anything that Max did because he was phenomenal. Phenomenal, but he got knocked down.
Even Max thought it was a knockdown. after the fight, he did his, you know, how they take them around and kind of take them through the mini car wash of different interviews or whatnot. He was on the set of ESPN talking to Brett Okamoto and talking about the knockdown. Like he even acknowledged, yeah, it was a knockdown. He knocked me down. And he was like, you know, dang, Justin, why you gotta do me like that? They need to give that to Gaethje
if nothing else.
That's a knockdown. You gotta, yeah.
You can't take that away.
No, that's a knockdown.
But yeah, I thought that was interesting. But no, you've definitely got to give this award to Max Holloway. That was, I don't think any of us saw him knocking Gaethje out.
No, we did not.
And
that's
to
why
put it on the line
plus
as well.
900.
Yeah, and to put it on the line as well when you're clearly streets ahead. You've got the fight won. To trade with a guy like that and give him the chance to win, it's phenomenal. It's going to be seen as one of the greatest moments in UFC history. You have to give him this award. There's no other. I'm not even going to talk about anyone else for this one. It'd be disrespectful, sir.
That's like shooting craps with somebody and you taking all their money, all of it. You took all their money, and then you say, "Okay, one more." Like, I'm betting everything. I bet everything in my pockets and everything I took from you.
And you're like, "Well, let's see those house keys."
Like everything.
Take it all.
Let's put everything on it.
Yeah.
That's just, man. I don't know, man. It's just one of the most epic, most impressive moments in MMA history I've ever seen.
And where it happened as well, for it to happen at this event, it took the event to the next level. In that sense, it felt like that alone would have meant that the card delivered. Just that.
Absolutely.
But obviously, we've got so much more. So, phenomenal moment and well deserved.
Yes, very, very much so. All right, so this is an impressive one, like or a different one. You can go a lot of different ways with this one, but this is the Ink Master Award. So for the fighter with the most impressive tattoos. This one was actually harder than I thought because Cody got some new tattoos. And I saw those on Embedded. He got some new tattoos that I hadn't seen before. And Cody actually has some really nice tattoos. He's got some weird ones, but he got some nice ones. And then Alexander Rakic, he got some new tattoos as well. And his tattoos are pretty nice. But it's something about having a really cool back piece. Even if it says your name on it, it's something about having a really cool back piece. And I got to go with Charles do Bronx Oliveira for that massive lion that he has on his back. Like, whoever did that, I don't know who's doing tattoos in Brazil, but they do an amazing job. Even Jessica Andrade's, the lady with the headdress on her arm is amazing. But I got to give it to Charles Oliveira for the best tattoo on the card last night or Saturday.
Yeah, when I saw this award come up, I was like, damn, I got to check out some man's bodies. I didn't even think to check out the women. That's how you know where my mind is. God damn. It's another questionable moment on my side. I didn't even consider Andrade.
From time to time.
The evidence is mounting.
Oh man.
Yeah, I like Oliveira's tattoos as well, which is kind of surprising because I usually think the portraits suck, and I know a little bit something about that. Like his look good. I think Diego Lopez is a G, but his tattoos fucking suck. Like, man, I hate when people put slogans on themselves. I think they look stunning. It's in such a prominent place as well. He wasted some really good real estate there. Let me put it that way.
I mean, you know what? I will say this. I'm curious what people will say, and put this down in the comments. Who has the worst tattoos on this card? Because you got two people that you could pick from. You got two standouts that you could pick from. Diego Lopez's tattoo is not great, but Jamal Hill's tattoo is...
Yeah, they are. I'd probably go Jamal Hill, you know.
It's
those
not great.
Stupid Mickey Mouse hands, they look... And again, prime real estate. Like, what are you doing? I'll tell you this, though. The reason why I didn't consider Jamal Hill is because those tattoos, I didn't even notice them until you pointed them out.
Oh, yeah.
So I let that one slide. Again, Gaethje having his name across his back. I always think people that do that are mongs. It's like Eddie Alvarez as well. It's like, your name's on the screen. we don't need to waste an entire back piece making it clear to people who you are.
He just wanted to be sure.
It just seems stupid to me. I've never liked that. I always think people who get their own name are dumb. So you've already brought up I'm going with Rakic. Like, I personally think the sleeve, I'm a big, I've got sleeves myself.
Yeah.
The detail on it is nice. And I quite like the sleeve with the breastplate.
Yeah.
I think it looks
really
quite cool.
I think
it looks quite, and the thing is, it seems like it's kind of well thought out. Like, he's got the laugh now, cry later as a centerpiece of that, which I think is quite, the happy face, clown face, that the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I think that's a very good tattoo to have for a fighter.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I think it looks cool. I think it's tasteful. I don't think it's overdone. He's got one or two like words and stuff, but there's nothing to. Yeah. So of all the tattoos on the card, I would go with that one as being the most stylish. But what we figured out is whenever we talk about tattoos, we mostly rag on them because they're shit.
It's true.
Most people have terrible tattoos.
Most people in general, have bad tattoos. I mean, I have some questionable tattoos, but like most people, they have a tattoo and they're like, maybe that wasn't the one I should have picked. And fighters are no different. But the difference is, they go out there and they have to be out here, with very little clothing on, so we get to see them.
That's the thing. Yeah, your job involves having your shirt off.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Like, I can hide my bad tattoos whenever I want.
Yeah.
So like, I'll go with Rakic. I like his.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick. All right, so for the least entertaining fight on the fight card, it'll be for the What Else Is on TV Award. This one was very easy for me because this was a part of the time where I was getting food, and I did see the fight, but it was, I don't know. It could have been on another card. Could have been replaced by something else. This easily goes to Jessica Andrade against Marina Rodriguez for me. Not to say that they had a bad fight. It's just, for the level and the gravity of this particular card, it didn't really meet that threshold to me. Now, I gave strong consideration to Cody Garbrandt and Davison Figueiredo. And there was a finish in that fight, but it was because of that was supposed to start the card out with a bang. There was actually a lot of weight placed on that fight, but it didn't deliver in that manner. And I know when we were on the stream, we were just like, oh boy, if it's like this, I don't know, man.
It felt stinky. Like
it did. But I gotta go with Jessica Andrade against Marina Rodriguez for I don't know. I mean, Jessica got the win. It was cool, but whatever.
It wasn't memorable. I think it's reasonable to say. It wasn't memorable while we were watching it. I was forgetting it while I was watching it. It wasn't great. I think that, what, despite this being, I don't want to dunk on this card because it was amazing, but there were a couple that deserved this award. I didn't really expect anything from Andrade and Rodriguez, and I kind of thought, you know what? I appreciate that there's a piss break in there, because I was peeing like a racehorse that entire card. I was like, I needed it.
Yeah,
I think I left like 4 times.
That water fast, boy.
Oh man, I'll tell you something. It's the water fast and then drinking copious amounts of alcohol. Apparently that leads to plenty of required bathroom breaks. Another lesson learned. But no, I didn't really expect too much from that. I was tempted to give this award to Aljo because, let's be honest, that fight was very, very boring. Again, though, it was on the prelims and it was followed by a brainstormer, and I was kind of expecting Aljo to do that. In fact, that was another fight that I called perfectly. I said that's exactly what he's going to do. So yeah, I'm giving this award to Bo Nickel for his lackluster display against Cody Brundage. Like, And the main reason I'm doing this is that you get given a main card slot against a terrible fighter to look good, and that same fighter is showboating at the end of the first round, safe from danger while you ride out his back. It was very boring. It was very unconvincing. He was given every opportunity to go out there and impress people, and he did the bare minimum. He didn't look like a minus 2,000 favorite. Started the main card off in the most boring way imaginable. I think his stock dropped, if anything, after it. Yeah, fuck Bo Nickel. I think Jiri and Rakic should have been there. And by the way, we literally released that video saying he's going to be a future champion, and I was like, I need to delete this immediately. That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
I thought it was a dog shit performance.
Yeah, it was tough. It was very tough. I will tell you, going back to the Aljo thing, and me and CJ were talking about this particular award, and she brought up that she was like, man, I don't want to give that to Aljo because, well, one, because of how hard it was to do what he was doing. He was going up to a new weight class and, fighting a top 10 contender. Obviously the promotion is not behind him.
No. He didn't even get a post-fight interview. The only one on the card, the only winner. Yeah, the only winner that didn't.
Yeah, like
they really don't like the guy, and I think it's bad.
I do not like what they are doing with him, and I'm a person who's picked against Aljo many times, but it's not because of who he is as a person, and I feel like this is reflective of what they think of him as a person. That's and it's not fair. That's not fair to him. I hope he gets a really good matchup next. Like, I know that he's called for, maybe Brian Ortega or something like that, which I would be fine with that fight, but I hope they give him something solid for his next go around, because he did it, and the very thing that people complain about with Aljo is him complaining, and he hasn't complained.
He hasn't, no.
I hope that they reward that from him going in there doing his job against a tough fighter in Calvin Kattar, and give him a place to showcase himself. He even admitted that he was super nervous in the fight. More nervous than he's ever been. So, and
I just like him. I think he deserves more respect. I think he deserves a lot more respect than he's getting. He was a good champion. He was a hard champion to beat, and he earned it the hard way because they didn't want to give it to him.
He did. No.
He earned it the right way, and then he defended it, and he stepped in for them when they asked him to, giving Sean O'Malley every advantage. I think he deserves more respect than he got, and that he's getting.
I think so.
So I agree. It would have been harsh to give him that award because he went in there and did what he does, but at a bigger weight class where we thought that advantages, where some people thought those advantages wouldn't be there for him anymore. So
yeah,
fair play to him. Yeah, I'm going with Bo Nickel. Prick.
All right, and the last one, the I Got Shit to Do award. And this one goes to the fighter with the fastest finish. This one was tough for me because it came down to two finishes. Now, the actual by the numbers fastest finish is Diego Lopez in fighting a overwhelmed, didn't know where he was, very confused Sadiq Youssef, who I think both of us, that is not who we thought was coming into this card. I don't know what happened with that man in this fight. He clearly, it was a head case in this fight. But I'm actually going to give it to Alex Pereira. And the reason I'm going to give it to him is just because he was carrying the weight of the card on his shoulder. He's the last walkout. He's in there to defend his title for the first time. And he's got all these expectations on him. He even put more expectations on himself by saying that he wants to fight at 301. And he went out there and made it look easy.
You demolished him.
Hill, and made it like you can't even question, and we brought this up on the live chat, you can't even question, well, Hill wasn't, Hill, that didn't even make a difference. The Achilles played no part in what happened to that man. He just got knocked out. That's all that happened. I mean, so I got to give it to Alex Pereira on this, even though I strongly considered Diego Lopez instead of him. But who do you have for this one?
Yeah, I had similar lines. I was thinking along similar lines to you. It came down to those two choices as well, between Alex and Diego. The thing is, like, we've seen. One thing I realized is, watching the highlights of people, because that was something that we did, like, making the highlights for different fighters over this week. Mm-hmm. Alex has done it so many times in his career that even though I thought Hill would win, when Alex did it, I wasn't surprised. I wasn't like, oh, wow, this is...
Yeah.
We know that Alex is capable of that. I'm going to side with Diego because, like, not only was it the faster knockout, but I really wanted him to win, and I didn't think he would. And I thought that if he was going to win, it would have had to have been on the ground. Like, I didn't think he would stand purely with somebody who's as good a striker as Sadiq Yusuff. And I know Sadiq Yusuff looked horrible. He is crisp on the feet. He's got really good... This is a guy that beat Mike Davis and was looking fantastic against Edison Barbosa. And he's had good, If you said to me, like, this fight is definitely going to take place in boxing range, I would say, yeah, and that's why I picked him. Because I thought it would.
Yeah.
Diego fucked him up. Mm-hmm. Diego fucked him up, flatlined him in such a short order. And I feel like of anyone on the card, outside of Max and Alex, who are already superstars, I think he's somebody who's thrown himself... His stock has gone through the roof. So I think for the knockout, the way that he got it, the fact that it was the most unexpected to me of all the outcomes, and the fact that it was so speedy, the I've got shit to do award for me goes to Diego Lopez.
That's a great pick. Because, I mean, I didn't expect that. Like, and it wasn't that I didn't think that Diego could win. Because, I mean, on all the stuff that we talked about, it was so hard to pick in that fight because, one, I like both fighters so much, but two, I could see clear paths and clear ways for each one of them to win. What I didn't think was Sadiq wasn't going to show up. I just didn't.
Yeah, he looked awful. He looked like a deer in headlights.
I don't know what happened, man. I don't know what happened. Hopefully, what would be cool is if we get Sadiq Yusuff on here so he can tell his story. Like, because I'm curious, like, what happened? That's not the Sadiq that, we saw against Edson Barbosa. But that being said, Diego is definitely, like, I could see him moving into that Charles Oliveira slot of superstardom, that same type of star, who can knock you out, but he has nasty jiu-jitsu, and can submit you, and you're in danger wherever you go. And he's very well put together as far as his game, and he's got a lot of experience. I think he has like almost twice as many fights as Sadiq. Like, it's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I mean, he was busy. He's had, like, there's times when he's had 5-6 fights a year when he was fighting in the regions, crazy. And what I like, he's active as well. Like, since he's been in the UFC, he's only been in the UFC for 12 months. He's fought 4 times.
That's just crazy. It's
already
crazy. Yeah.
And he's looking like he's getting better every time. So, rocket ship for that gentleman.
For sure.
He's on the way. I'm glad I got this right, because I said he was going to be the dark horse of this division and that he'd be sitting outside the top 5 by the end of the year. And
I mean, I hope so, man, because they need that. They need that.
Yeah.
They need an infusion of some young blood, man. I'm anxious to see him move up the rankings and start challenging these people who've been sitting up there for a while. We need
new blood at featherweight. And he's dangerous. Yeah. If he can get it together, he's going to be a massive problem.
Absolutely. But so those are the awards, y'all. Let me know what y'all got for your awards down in the comments. But yeah, until next time.